Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ben Elton. I'm afraid I'm going to have to start on rather a heavy note because there's been a bit of trouble in the upper stalls. A couple of guys have been drinking too much and we've had to throw them out. Now, I think the time has come for a timely warning. Alcohol is a poison, all right? It's a poison, and the body is a highly sophisticated piece of natural engineering. It is a highly complex machine. It should be respected. I mean, you wouldn't pour 7 pints of lager in your stereo, would you? You wouldn't buy a camera that spent every New Year's Eve unconscious on the toilet floor. But the old body, get one sorted out, doesn't matter, not going to live forever, am I? Another round, John, course I can drive. Wallet, was that an old lady? Who cares? All right. Drinking. People are so proud of drinking, aren't they? So proud of themselves for getting drunk. Cool, blimey, you should have seen us last night. You should have seen us. We were throwing up. You should have seen us. We was throwing up everywhere. Yeah, great, invite me next time we got food poisoning. I like to spend the evening watching people being sick. It's fantastic. Everybody's values are reversed when they're drunk. Everybody lives in a strange parallel universe where good is bad and bad is good. What a fantastic night we had last night. We could not walk. We couldn't talk. It was brilliant. You know, you get the same effect when you break your spine, and it's a lot cheaper. You know, the booze is a problem. The reason stand-up comedians don't like drinkers is because every drinker will inevitably have to get up and go to the lavatory in the middle of our sets, and they'll be wandering along, getting through all the rows. Could you excuse me? I'm dying to go. Could you excuse me, please? All the time. Now, we're socialist comedians. We believe people should be allowed to go to the lavvy if they want, but I should just warn you all here tonight that we have wired up the bogs to the mains. So if you get a strong whiff of singed pube halfway through the evening, it means some idiot's been getting one sorted out before my set, right? Oh, it's very strange, the excuses people think up for drinking, eh? I do it to be sociable. Nobody's sociable when they're drunk. It's like trying to have a conversation when your tongue's wearing a mitten. You see, now I drink a lot, and it's a drug. I'm addicted to lager, and it is a drug. You've got to get off it. Like I tried cold turkey. Didn't work, too drunk to keep it down. Most doctors agree the only way to beat a drug is to wean yourself off it, to find a substitute which has got the same effects, but it's not as dangerous, but it tastes the same. I went to the doctor, I said, Doctor, I'm addicted to lager. He gave me a urine sample. Great, now I'm addicted to doctor's urine, and it's a lot more difficult to get. I tend to drink Kestrel. Kestrel lager, eh? Anybody drink Kestrel lager? What a brilliant name for a lager that is, eh? Isn't that brilliant? Kestrel. I mean, it really sums up the spirit of tinned lager, doesn't it, eh? I mean, it's natural Kestrel lifestyle, isn't it? Propping up the bar and nutting each other, you know? You see all the Kestrels in the Lake District gliding high on the Lakeland heather, miles up on the ebbs and flows of the spring wind, thinking, dear, oh dear, I could do with 8 pints of lager and a curry. Kestrel, Norseman, Skoll, all these macho names for tinned lager. Why don't they just come clean, eh? Why don't they call them burp? Like a burp, please, mate. Sorry, mate, burp's off. You'll have to have fart. Real ale is the biggest problem. Real ale, pretentious real ale. I was having a drink in a London weekend bar before we started, having a pint of lager, as is my wont. And a bloke turns to me, he says, don't drink that stuff, man, okay? That's not real ale, all right? You shouldn't drink it because it's not real, all right? It's going to screw up your system. It's just not real, all right? I said, try telling that to the taxi driver when you're throwing it up all over his cab on the way home. It's all right, John, it's not real, yeah. Very existential. It's only dripping out the doors of his taxi and splattered his meter. How much is that, mate? £1.50. No, hang on, there's a carrot on the surcharge, £2.85. Real ale. I'll tell you what, the middle class, they've got this organisation called CAMRA, Campaign for Real Ale. Because they're great, the middle class. You see, they can't stop the bomb, but they can sort out a decent pint. You know, they got the priorities right, fair enough. And they got all these country pubs. Like the other day, I was up the Old Priest's Hole, which is a pub, incidentally, not an archaic criminal offence. Oh, there's a couple of liberals over there a bit worried about that one. They're wondering, was that left wing or was that gay bashing? Not too sure. It's all right, the gag's been analysed by the Guardian, I can say it. It was left wing, all right? I was up the Old Priest's Hole, having a glass of throbbing Chunder's bowel basher. You know, the real stuff. Consistency of porridge. I was eating it with a spoon. There's a frog dancing round the rim and a length of rusty chain in the bottom. Very appetising. The stuff was so strong, the bar prices were in braille. You ever had that feeling? Wallet, where the hell am I? They got a car park full of guide dogs. Think about it. It was the only pub I've ever seen had its own stomach pump. Until I started drinking here, that's for sure. Anyway, finally, I mentioned students the other day. The only place to get a real ale pint is down the student union bar, eh? With the lads from the university rugby club, eh? Pouring it over their heads, singing the hairs on her dicky dido. It's a funny way to prove your masculinity, innit, lads, eh? Sing about sex and not drink your beer, yeah. I remember, because I was a student, I did a degree in posing, actually, you know. I was there, you know, glass of dry white wine, reading a play, humming a Leonard Cohen ditty to myself. Yeah, still a few old hippies in the audience. Nice to see it. Down to it, stealing up for me. And suddenly, the door would get smashed down and in they come. 24 mud-stained wallies, right? Rugby balls under their arms. They'd throw up on the floor just so they could skid across it instead of walk. They'd pirouette into the middle of the room, waving their Barclays Bank I don't mind about apartheid grant checks. They'd see me in the corner, they'd say, hey, he's reading a play. He's doing some work at university. That means he's homosexual because he's not doing it, he's not drinking, he's not doing sexist jokes and assaulting women. He's doing work. He must be gay, he must be queer, he's a homosexual. Then they'd drop their trousers, shove their bare bums at me and go off and have a shower together. Now where were they at, eh? Dodgy sexual politics. Good night. Thank you.